It's important to understand the hierarchy of scientific evidence. When you're talking about proving things to be either safe or harmful, you need to rely on the best evidence. As you can see from the table on the right, a randomized control trial is level 1 evidence, the highest form of evidence there is. It's considered the gold standard, and it's the only way to prove that something is true. Models, which we've heard a lot of during the pandemic, are actually the lowest form of evidence, level 5 or lower, as they're considered to be expert opinion or speculation. Policy should always be determined by the highest level of evidence available, which is level 1.
I'm cutting this announcement on the morning of December 28th, 2021. And that means you've only got until Thursday morning, or less than 2 days, to take advantage of the biggest sales of 2021. Up to 60% off on our best-selling products, double Patriot points, and store-wide free shipping. DNA Force Plus is about to go off sale. Vitamineral Fusion is about to go off sale. Ultimate Bone Broth that we finally got reformulated and back in stock, it is going to be ending its sale, along with more than 50 other products at InfoWarsStore.com and the free shipping. So you've got until Thursday to get the best deals of 2021, and they're gone and they're over. We were going to run them through to the new year, but most of these products have almost sold out. A lot have already sold out. So thanks for keeping us on the air. These are great products. It's a win-win. InfoWarsStore.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alex Jones Show. My name is Harrison Smith. This is our final segment with you. Man, time flies. I'm thinking, a whole hour? Gosh, I'll cover stuff about the Fed. I'll cover stuff about transgenderism. Now, all we have time to do is to destroy the so-called scientific basis of all of these changes that they're making. But luckily, there's so much more to find on band.video and Infowars.com. The news never stops, folks. And of course, it's all brought to you by InfoWarsStore.com. I really try very hard, and it's difficult, I'll tell you what, to avoid any sort of drama in the right-wingo sphere of commentary, the dissident right over here. But, every once in a while, something happens. I'm not even going to comment. All I'll say is this. InfoWars is the real deal. A lot of right-wing grifters get exposed and are being exposed for being absolutely nothing like the person that they portray. I hope you understand, if you're a regular viewer of InfoWars, everything we do here is off the cuff. Everything we do here is as real as it can possibly be, right? And I think you understand that. And I always just think it's hilarious when left-wing activist groups are like, activist hackers are going to find the secrets of the right wing. And it's like, oh no, oh dear, oh no, they're going to find my short films from high school maybe. Like, there's no dirt. There's no dirt to find. There's no ulterior motives. There's no secret funding. It doesn't exist. All of our funding is InfoWarsStore.com. All of our information is right here in front of your face. All of our personality and our mindset, everything is on the table for you to see. And I think that's one thing that attracts people to InfoWars and makes it so easy to be here, because I don't have to play a part. I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not. All I am is outraged at the insane nonsense going on a continual basis around the world. And here I have a platform to pontificate on it. And I thank you so much for that honor and privilege. Please go to InfoWarsStore.com to keep us on the air and help us to expand band.video as we're bringing on more and more producers, more and more reporters and investigators. It's growing and growing and really becoming a true juggernaut of truth, plowing through the ranks of misinformation that assault us on a continual basis. Now, of course, big news is that Dr. Robert Malone has been suspended from Twitter. He's not the only one, though. Twitter has suspended Just the News founder for a report on the legal distinctions between the COVID vaccine. So they're doing a big purge right now. I want to take a moment to play a video that we believe to be the video that got Robert Malone suspended off of Twitter. And the whole thing's about 40 minutes long. It's by the Canadian COVID Care Alliance. I've retweeted a link to it if you want to share the full thing, and I encourage you to do so and watch the whole thing. But I want to play at least the first 5 minutes of it here because it's very, very powerful information all on its own. Powerful enough to get the inventor of the mRNA technology kicked off of Twitter permanently. And here it is. Let's watch.
The Pfizer inoculations for COVID-19 and why they do more harm than good. We're the Canadian COVID Care Alliance, and our alliance of over 500 independent Canadian doctors, scientists, and healthcare practitioners is committed to providing quality, balanced, evidence-based information to the Canadian public about COVID-19 so that hospitalizations can be reduced, lives saved, and our country safely restored to normal as quickly as possible. We support the doctor-patient relationship and personalized care, informed consent and treatment options, free and open scientific discourse, and safe and effective vaccines. It's important to understand the hierarchy of scientific evidence. When you're talking about proving things to be either safe or harmful, you need to rely on the best evidence. As you can see from the table on the right, a randomized control trial is level 1 evidence, the highest form of evidence there is. It's considered the gold standard, and it's the only way to prove that something is true. Models, which we've heard a lot of during the pandemic, are actually the lowest form of evidence, level 5 or lower, as they're considered to be expert opinion or speculation. Policy should always be determined by the highest level of evidence available, which is level 1. So first, we're going to talk about Pfizer's original trial report that came out in December 31st of 2020. It was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and it showed 2 months' worth of safety and efficacy data. It described how the trial started with over 43,000 people divided into a treatment group and a control group, and how for 2 months they followed them to see who developed COVID-19. The report claimed that the inoculations were safe and showed 95% efficacy 7 days after the second dose. But that 95% was actually relative risk reduction. Absolute risk reduction was only 0.84%. Many people don't know the difference between relative and absolute risk reduction, so we're just going to show you what that means. Pfizer reported that its vaccine shows a 95% efficacy. That sounds like it protects you 95% of the time, right? But that's not actually what that number means. That 95% refers to the relative risk reduction, but it doesn't tell you how much your overall risk is reduced by vaccination. For that, we need absolute risk reduction. In the Pfizer trial, 8 out of 18,198 people who were given the vaccine developed COVID-19. In the unvaccinated placebo group, 162 people got it, which means that even without the vaccine, the risk of contracting COVID-19 was extremely low at 0.88%, which the vaccine then reduced to 0.04%. So the net benefit, or the absolute risk reduction that you're being offered with a Pfizer vaccine, is 0.84%. That 95% number, that refers to the relative difference between 0.88 and 0.04%. That's what they call 95% relative risk reduction. And relative risk reduction is well known to be a misleading number, which is why the FDA recommends using absolute risk reduction instead. Which begs the question, how many people would have chosen to take the COVID-19 vaccines had they understood that they offered less than 1% benefit? So the first thing you need to understand about how Pfizer ran this study is that it didn't go according to their stated plan. There was an inoculated group and a placebo group of about 21,000 participants each, and they began the phase 3 trials in July of 2020. And the study was blind, which means the participants didn't know which group they were in. And this blinded trial was supposed to go on for 3 years until May 2nd of 2023. That would mark the end of phase 3 of the clinical trial. At that point, the trial would be unblinded, which means the placebo group would be offered the intervention if it were indicated and if they consented. But that's not what happened. Instead, after they had accumulated and released only 2 months' worth of trial data, Pfizer unblinded the study, which means they told all of the placebo and inoculation group participants which group they were in and offered the placebo group participants the option of moving over to the inoculated group. Most of them took Pfizer up on that offer, and the vast majority of the placebo group moved into the inoculated group. Which means that quite early in 2021, there was no longer a control group to compare the inoculated group to, which means that for the rest of the trial, there's no way to assess long-term effectiveness or safety. Now we'll move ahead to Pfizer's 6-month report data, and that came out on September 15th of 2021. This report indicated an efficacy of 91.3%, which means the inoculated group showed a reduction in positive cases compared to the placebo group. But shockingly, the inoculated group also showed an increase in illness and deaths. Now, this is a problem because there's no benefit to a reduction in cases if it comes at a cost of increased illness and death. Let's look first at the increased illness that can be found in the Pfizer trial data. On the right, you'll see Pfizer's efficacy numbers, which they present quite proudly in their report, and it shows a reduction of positive cases of 91% in favor of the inoculation arm of the trial. On the left is a table showing the adverse events from the trial. You won't actually find it in the report itself. You have to dig into the supplementary appendix in order to find it. We've included a link to it in the PDF version of this presentation. And this table is really concerning because if you recall, the justification for the inoculations was to reduce illness and hospitalization. Yet here we see that the inoculation arm showed an increase in adverse events in almost every category. For example, if you look at related adverse events, which are adverse events that the investigators determined to be caused by the investigational product, there were over 5,000 in the experimental arm and just over 1,000 in the placebo group. So that was a 300% increase for people who'd taken the inoculation. And when we look at severe adverse events, things that significantly interfere with normal daily function, there was
folks,
a 75%.
so we think that this was the video that got Dr. Robert Malone kicked off of Twitter, and you can see why. It's not because it's misinformation. It's because it destroys their entire narrative, and it's really incredible. There's 40 minutes of that level of bombshell information. It truly is incredible. The Canadian COVID Care Alliance, just that little portion at the beginning, just again devastates the entire narrative about the vaccine. And of course, we can't have that. We must vaccinate everybody. So eliminate anybody that dares to tell the truth. That's where we are now, folks. And that's where we will remain unless we stand up and fight back against this. The best way for you to do that, please go to InfoWarsStore.com. Again, the sale is going to end very, very rapidly. To me, one of the biggest things is the free shipping. If you have been wanting to order an air filter or a water filter, these are pretty big products. The shipping can kind of stack up. Now is the time to take advantage of these sales. Not only are you getting discounts on our best products, the free shipping is just another huge discount on top of it. We'll take care of it. Just go to InfoWarsStore.com and order your supplements to help you carry out your New Year's resolutions, or a t-shirt to help you advertise that you are not a brainwashed moron like the rest of the sheep walking around here. And also you can get the COVID Land, the mask. That's the second episode of the COVID Land documentary series. And when you order that, you get Bohemian Grove, the Order of Death, for free, hard copies that they cannot eliminate. Take it, copy it, share it, burn it, re-upload it, do whatever you need to get this information out, because that is what it's all about. And thank you so much for being here with me today. The War Room begins in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
2021 has been an incredible year. It's been an incredible year for evil, but it's also been an amazing year for the global awakening. And it's hard to believe it's almost over. Christmas 2021 is now a thing of history, and we are plunging into the most critical year, not just in U.S. history, but world history, in my view. So please continue to spread the word about InfoWars. Please continue to pray for the broadcast, because all of us together, including you, the viewers and listeners, are the tip of the spear. And take advantage of Christmas sales that will end Thursday morning. I'm cutting this on Tuesday morning. This is only going to run until Thursday morning, and the sale will end up to 60% off, double Patriot points, and free shipping at InfoWarsStore.com. So thanks for keeping us on the air while getting great products at the same time, like Vitamin Mineral Fusion, DNA Force Plus, Ultimate Bone Broth Formula, Ultimate Turmeric Formula, and so much more at InfoWarsStore.com. The sale ends in just 2 days.